This is a 2012 MacBook Air. It's a machine from one of my favourite eras of Apple. The design is timeless, it's light, and the battery is pretty decent. But that's because it's running macOS 10.13 High Sierra. Apple is known for having hardware and software that mesh really well together. And it results in this 13-year-old MacBook Air being a joy to use, even by today's standards. High Sierra is a fantastic experience on this device. But there's a problem. While this MacBook might be fast enough for day-to-day tasks like YouTube, web browsing, Office, and even some light creative work or gaming, the OS is very out of date. You could upgrade it to the latest supported version, macOS Catalina, but app support isn't much better, and security concerns are starting to creep in, and if you try it out, it definitely runs worse than High Sierra. You could try OpenCore Legacy Patcher to install a much newer version of macOS on an unsupported device. But if you've seen my other video, I tried macOS Ventura, and it was very, very slow. There is another option, Linux. But should you actually consider replacing macOS with Linux on your old Mac? Would it make your life better, or just weird? Join me in this video to find out. So, I mentioned that using macOS High Sierra might not be a good idea if you're doing anything sensitive like banking or using online accounts. People might think that's an overreaction, but it's about risk. And by running an obsolete operating system, you're increasing the risk to you and your data substantially. So let's try our luck with Linux. First, we'll try Linux Mint XFCE Edition. This is a Linux distro known for being light on resources, which is perfect for this machine. We'll also try the latest version of Fedora 42 with the GNOME desktop, and hopefully, in the process, we'll find out what the best course of action is if you want to keep using an older Apple computer like this. After downloading the Linux Mint XFCE ISO from the Mint website, I used Balena Etcher to write the image to my USB stick. Then I said goodbye to my macOS install and rebooted the MacBook, holding down the Alt key to enter the boot menu. After the installer booted, I was able to have a quick play to make sure that everything was working okay before installing to the MacBook's internal SSD. The Linux Mint installer is really friendly, and it walks you through the process. When it was done, I rebooted into the Mint desktop, and first impressions were pretty good. I just had to switch to dark mode and change the wallpaper straight away, but after I did, I began to notice something. It just didn't feel as smooth. It wasn't slow by any means, apps loaded quickly and the system felt responsive enough, but that buttery smooth macOS feel was gone. There were no smooth animations, and things felt quite clunky. That's probably just how the XFCE desktop environment is. Remember, it's specifically designed to use minimal resources. But once I did get over that, things like YouTube, web browsing, and Office apps worked flawlessly, and all at their latest versions, a luxury which we didn't have on High Sierra. I installed a few other apps with the APT package manager, including GIMP, and had a play around. It was pretty responsive, but most importantly, everything was up to date and secure. A definite improvement if you can get over the fact that this is not macOS. What about Fedora then? After the XFCE desktop environment, I was feeling like something a bit more polished. Before we have a look at that, let's check out PCBWay, this video's sponsor. PCBWay is a one-stop shop for PCB prototyping, CNC machining, 3D printing, and more. The possibilities really are only limited by your imagination. So if you've got a geeky project that could benefit from using a high-quality PCB maker or a cool 3D printed model, they've got you covered. Head onto the PCBWay website, upload your files, and enter your specs for an instant quote. Thanks to PCBWay for sponsoring this video, which wouldn't be possible without their support. After going through the Fedora installer and completely erasing Mint, I booted up into Fedora's GNOME desktop environment. I was expecting a really slow and glitchy experience, but was surprised to find that the system was pretty much as fast as Mint XFCE. I just had to customize it a bit with the Dash to Dock GNOME extension for that macOS feel. But what was it like to use? It's still not as fast as High Sierra, but when you remember that this is a 13-year-old laptop, it's really impressive. We've just installed a modern, up-to-date OS that provides a good user experience and runs, well enough. Obviously you've got to keep in mind with this kind of thing that you're not going to be able to run your macOS apps. This is Linux. But if your priority is up-to-date apps and security, this could be great. So what's my final verdict? Well, out of these two Linux options, I'd go for Fedora with the GNOME desktop environment. It runs well enough and offers a much more refined desktop experience than Mint XFCE. Power usage between the two is also negligible. I used PowerTop in both Mint and Fedora to measure power draw, and the results were too inconclusive and similar to declare a winner. But battery life is actually the major downside to Linux on a machine like this. I don't think you'd get much more than 3 or 4 hours under Linux on a light load, compared to the roughly 6 hours I'd normally get in macOS High Sierra. This is a common complaint from Linux laptop users who have inefficient and older CPUs. If that doesn't scare you off, well, it's great. You've got a secure and up-to-date OS, and you've given your old laptop a new lease on life. I think it's really impressive that you can do this to a 13-year-old machine. If you're just a day-to-day user and you're not doing gaming or high-power creative workflows, this could be a great idea. But for me, I think I'll go back to macOS. This isn't my main machine, and I don't do anything sensitive on here. I use it for word processing, sometimes for Logic Pro, or just doing a quick Google search here and there. So if that sounds like you, skipping Linux might be the right move. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you done this? Why or why not? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.